Well, welcome to another episode of Why Not eXp, where we talk about the eXp platform, the value proposition, the latest and greatest for the audience out there that's maybe thinking about eXp, maybe curious, and maybe never heard about eXp. This is meant to be informational, or I interview guests and talk a little bit about the eXp platform. Today we have Joe Wilson, Regional Growth Director at eXp on the corporate side. Joe, I know you have a slam schedule, so welcome. Thank you for your time, and glad to have you on today's episode.
Nima, my friend, I appreciate you. Let's freaking go.
Let's go. Well, Joe, we could go all over. We could do like 3 hours of this, you and I. So
Yeah.
tell me a little about yourself, your story, your real estate story, where you started, what you're doing. Because I know you're a massive producer, and how on earth you ended up at eXp.
Well, it's kind of a crazy story, like most of us real estate agents, right? I mean, if you've been in this game any time, um, you've had to make a lot of decisions, mostly, right? Started this 12 years ago, Nima, which sounds crazy,
Feels like
which
yesterday.
also say what?
Feels like yesterday.
It feels like yesterday. My hairline would say different. Okay. And so, um, 12 years ago, right? Short story, started out new, just like everybody else, right? And just getting my feet wet. And was at another company. I was at KW for quite some time, and hey, was a top producer there, and then moving into more of a coaching role, and then moved into running offices across the country for KW, and that was great. It was really great, and met a lot of awesome people. Was in a lot of great rooms, but something was off.
Hmm.
You know, something was off, and I just my personal my my what kind of lives here is, Nima, I am obsessed with agents building their brand, keeping 100% of their equity into their business, and creating a business that outlives their next commission check and their last commission check. Okay. And there's really, in my opinion, one model that truly does that, that is proven, sustainable, and most importantly, profitable. But I want agents to understand that they are the brand.
Right.
They are the one with the relationships. They're the one that pumps this whole thing. And I think like all top producers reach this level. And it's not a matter of if it happens, it's when it happens. So when all of us join a brokerage when we first start, that brokerage is obviously the leverage. We don't know what we're doing yet, right? And as we start to build our credibility, as we start to build out our pillars in the real estate world, is at some point for every top producer, depending on what platform they've associated with, that leverage flips where they become the leverage for the brokerage instead of the other way around.
Right.
So basically, that agent has reached that ceiling of opportunity of where they are. Okay. And that could be, that could be, they're not going to receive ownership. They're not sharing in any of the profits. They're not sharing in any of the equity. And most likely that top producer has built that brand because of who they are, not because of who the brand is.
And in many cases, they're building their broker's retirement plan, their broker's kids' college education funding,
Amen.
and,
Amen.
and that loyalty. A lot of times, when I talk to agents, oh, I'm loyal to my broker. I'm loyal to my brokerage, and I hear that a lot. And
Yeah.
I would say at the end of the day, initially your loyalty should be to yourself, to your family. Wouldn't you agree? We wake up, we put on our power suits, ladies, your dresses, or you look like $1 million to go out there and build your financial kingdom, not somebody else's. So why
Right.
all of a sudden that loyalty kicks into to somebody else?
Yeah, I think we hear that all the time. I mean, like, Joe, I love my broker. Well, I used to love my broker too. Okay. Of course my broker loved me. Of course, top producer,
Right.
your broker loves you, right? Because there's a financial, and it's not a blast on broker
Right.
owners, okay? Is everybody running a business? We have to make a profit, etc. But I don't get it twisted. That position of that relationship, in my opinion, okay, is loyalty is a two-way street, and alignment to me is a strategy, not a feeling. Okay. Where most agents will, I love my broker. I love this. I love that. Well, what is that strategy? Like, I get the love part, but is there a strategy attached to that loyalty that helps you become the best version of yourself and positions your business to serve your family at the highest level?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Detach the emotions, right? It's, we talk about
Yeah.
detaching the emotions. How is this helping you get from A to B to C? Okay.
Yeah. A to B to C. And here's the thing, like, we all pay our mortgage every single month. Well, hopefully some of us have paid off mortgages. You pay your car payment every single month. You pay I just spent $600 at Costco. Okay. Did my broker come in and slap their debit card down to take? No, no, they didn't. So I need to be loyal to what the alignment looks like in my world so I can serve the people that I actually serve on a daily, hourly basis, which is my family. Okay. And I am just obsessed with people doing that, especially top producers that are, that are spending just bukus of money for so-called loyalty or so-called value, and having them get really specific on what that value is and how it helps them move their business forward. And a lot of conversations that I have, those questions, I hear a lot of crickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So,
There's really no game plan. It's just hope for the
mm-mm.
best. Yeah.
No, there's no game plan. And here's the thing, like most top producers, I told a top producer the other day, and I was like, you could probably hang your license in my garage and you go crush life because of who you are. I would like to align you with a platform that associates with your skill set, your credibility to help you build your empire and your machine around who you already are instead of building someone else's. So stop borrowing your business from that brand or platform that you're with. Stop borrowing it or renting your business. Own it and control it. And
And,
that's what eXp helps you do in the platform that we have.
and I like the direction that this is going. So many times you were talking about your days at KW, but I see where we're going with this. So many times when I talk to agents, they say, I never joined EXP. I love my broker's brand, whatever it is, whether it's this brokerage, that brokerage, the luxury side of their brokerage, they are so entrenched in that brand. What would you say to somebody who has that mindset where their brokerage, where they're with the mindset that their brokerage is what is causing them to be successful, whether we'll just pick any brokerage, whether it's Compass,
Yeah, I
whether
think
it's Sotheby's, whatever that brand is, that brand has made them successful. And we're not picking on
yeah,
Compass or anybody, but it's just
y-
you hear that a lot about the brand.
yeah, yeah. I hear that a lot, and I think I think it's completely false. I think that, and hey, this isn't to put brokerages on blast, okay, or other platforms on blast. It's really about brokerages doing a really amazing job. They've become very masterful about telling you that you're successful because of them. It's the opposite. That platform needs you, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And and you know, you talk to most real estate agents, Nima, you included, me included. Like, I've never walked into a luxury appointment, a listing or a buyer consultation, and led with my brand or my company first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
If
if I
I
lose
if
the
I
agent.
went back if I went back to all the transactions, and just a heads up on YouTube and everything else for 2025, just to kind of give people an idea. Okay. I specialize in YouTube across the country, right? And we closed around 200 million in volume in 2025. There is not one single client from that experience that they know Joe Wilson. They know this partner. They know that partner. Very few of them would say, like, oh, yeah, Joe's with XYZ or Sarah's with XYZ. They do business with Sarah. It just so happens to be that you're with XYZ, but they do business with Sarah. And that has always been the case,
Yep,
always been the case in real estate.
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
So at KW, successful top producer, coach, what kind of led what was that aha moment for you where you realized maybe there's something better out there as great as KW
hmm
was, kind of the next challenge, the next catalyst to move your business forward? Kind of what was that watershed moment or moment?
Yeah, I kind of tell you like where it all started. So, I'm at Family Reunion
Yep.
in 2018, and my top agents are all sitting in the row, right? They get the long rows, you're sitting in the row. And KW is doing their, company address for the first 2.5 hours of the session, right? So you got, 15, 20,000 of the top agents in the country with KW at this event. Okay. It's huge.
Massive, yeah.
Okay. And all of a sudden from stage, this company called eXp starts to get thrown around on stage. Okay. This was in 2018. So, eXp, the platform of eXp wasn't very huge then. I mean, they were growing, but it wasn't even close to where we are today. I think 2018 it was around maybe at the time was around 8,000 agents.
Yeah.
Okay. And eXp just kept being mentioned. I mean, it just kept being mentioned.
Interesting.
And so I get on my phone, and I'm located in the North Carolina, South Carolina area at this moment. And I get on my phone and I actually start looking up because eXp wasn't so-called a competitor in the market yet, in my market. Now they were in others, but not specifically mine. So I started looking at the model and I was like, wow.
How
I
about
was
that?
like, I was like, there are two things that are going to happen here. Either, either they're going to fold up because they can't maintain the structure, or number two, they're absolutely going to change the game.
Think we know where that went?
I, I, I think we
Almost
know
10
what
years
happened.
later. Yep.
Yeah. So that's where this started and I am obsessed with agents doing what they've already been doing. It's about being with a platform that rewards you from doing what you're already doing and nothing else. You're
Okay.
selling real estate, you're building relationships, then you have an opportunity to add multiple streams of income to your wealth and your legacy from doing a top agent from what they've been doing for a decade or longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you said, how much was that commission check from your $3 million listing worth today? What is that? What is that getting?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
literally unemployed the moment we close escrow. You got to go out and
Yeah,
work
that's
again.
right. That's right.
And if you're
That's
doing
right.
30, 40, 50, 100 deals a year, well, guess what? You have to repeat that, assuming you don't have to work harder to get the same results in a down year.
Right, right. Well, yeah, and I mean that's kind of where it all started. And I had a meeting because I mean, you need to know almost as much about your competitors as you know about yourself. I mean, as far as the brand that you're at. And
Sure.
so, it's like let me deep dive into this process and it looked pretty amazing.
Okay. So
And but hey, my life was good. I wasn't losing. I was doing some good things and big things at KW, which
happy
is
where you were. There was no
yeah,
pain
happy where
points.
I was. Had some relationships and all the fun stuff. And I started looking at it, and that was 3 years before I actually came.
Okay.
Let me tell you the consequence of that inaction by me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't make a lot of decisions based on money. Um, but when it's the number that I saw, you start to pay attention. So I've been with eXp now for 3 years, a little bit over 3 years. I was really truly presented the model 3 years actually before I came. And by me staying where I was, I stopped counting at this point, Nima. You know my story is, I lost upwards of 1.5 to 1.6 million dollars because I had a moment of indecision because I wasn't losing where I was.
Yeah.
However, I wasn't winning as much as I should be winning.
And that's and for folks for those of you out there who are happy where you are, who have no reason to make a move. And we're not asking, I never tell people to make a move. It's never about making a move. It's, hey, are you open to having a conversation to compare and contrast what you get at your current brokerage versus what you would be getting at eXp, so that you and only you can make that determination if it aligns with where you're trying to go. But a lot of people say, hey, I got no reason to make a move. Great. I'm not asking you to make a move. It's, can this information you have change your lives? And you sat on it for 3 years,
I
and
did.
you quantified that pain point in the upwards of north of 1.5 million, almost $2 million, based on
Yep.
not being at a different platform. And you weren't
Yep.
losing. You were successful. You were making money. You were crushing it. You had no reason to look at something else.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and I think that was the biggest thing as a coach and doing all the things like all of my coaching clients, I tell them and hey, I talked to you about this, like you overturn every stone
yep,
to make sure, and this is in production, every part of your world, turn over every stone to make sure that you are aligned with what your vision is and what you actually want to do.
yeah,
And if I'm coaching that, I better be doing it.
right, right,
And I wasn't doing it. I was making, in the beginning, it was more of an emotional alignment because I'd been there for so long, my relationships, right? So none of us are immune to those feelings.
right.
No matter if you're still building your business or you feel like you've arrived and you have a giant business, like none of us are immune to those emotional feelings. And so that's what I really started to do is I set my emotions over here and I was like, let me take a real hard look at, because business is to fund the perfect life, right? That came from KW. I mean, the purpose of business is to fund the perfect life. Period. That's it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And so if that is true, which it is, what does that look like?
sure.
And uh the overs the thing that just kept coming back to me as a leader, and a lot of what real estate agents need to understand is it's about your brand. It's not about the brick and mortar building. It's not about this broker owner. It's not about that at all. It's about how are you, what rooms, what collaboration, the who, the what in your life is going to help you reach the level that you want to reach.
And we talk about that, the collaboration word,
Yep.
uh, being at EXP, and there, I can, thousands of agents can attest to this, is the rooms that we are in with top producers. You know, we were in Cabo just recently, and you have
Hmm.
the $500 million producers, guys and gals doing 200 deals a year, 500 deals a year, people with passive income streams in the 6 and 7 figures, who are literally opening up their playbook, availing
Yep.
themselves to see you succeed. Because as owners, when you succeed, I succeed. When I succeed, my partners succeed. Rising tide rises up all ships. We all want to see each other succeed, and I've never seen anything like that in the industry and in this dog eat dog industry.
Go.
You know,
Yep.
collaboration's at the top, competition's at the bottom, and I like being at the
That's right.
top. So,
That's right.
uh,
That's right. And it's so interesting because I was talking with a couple agents with a traditional and a traditional platform, and we just kind of like started talking. Like I feel most agents are really salt of the earth people. Like I love real estate agents. I think most of us are servant leaders. We love people. We want to help people go from A to B. Like I honestly believe that. And and we were talking through, like, as a top producer at this traditional model, why would you care to help anyone?
Hmm. Sure.
Like, there's no I mean, now, I mean, obviously you can charge for coaching, you can do all these other things, and maybe you have an agenda around why you're helping people. Okay. But why do you care other than you're a good human and you want to see people succeed up to a certain point, right? Unless they take too much of your time.
Right.
Okay. And so I really think this platform that we are associated with, Nima, allows us to have a vested interest and actually makes me and you a better version of ourselves because we've attached ourselves to a platform that does reward us for our skill sets.
And when you see people pour into you, you can't help but want to reciprocate with somebody else.
100%.
Create
So,
that chain
you,
reaction.
it's so wild because, when you make the move, like there's a lot of agents that have moved, like it's a little funky,
Sure.
right? You got to move your branding over. I mean, it's not that bad, but emotionally it can weigh on you. And so I walked into a room with around 50 agents when I first came over to eXp. And hey, I'm not new in the business, but now I'm new to the platform,
Right.
right? And just moved over from KW and all the fun stuff. And I walk into this room, Nima, and this is where it all changed. Okay. This makes me so excited. Honestly, gives me chill bumps a little bit. Is I walk into this room and there's 50 people, 10 to 15 minutes in the room. I like did this. Oh my gosh, I'm in the right room.
Yeah.
These people are just as crazy as I am, and let's freaking go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy in a good
And
way.
I,
Let's clarify.
which is in
Yeah.
a good way.
Yeah.
These people are we have a not that all of us had the same vision.
Right.
It was 50 different visions, but also like I don't live in a box.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is what changed for me is now the vision that I had is now aligned with a platform that says, Joe, you go do that. We got you.
Yeah.
Okay. And going back to the brokerage being your leverage. And then as you build your business, you become, as a top agent, you've become the leverage for the brokerage. Okay. My decision in coming over and moving my world here, no matter how big someone gets, EXP is always going to be the leverage for me, Nima.
Right.
That's how the model is built. Okay. So no matter how big you want to scale and you want to grow, the platform says yes.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Where that relationship never flips. And that is honestly one of the warm and fuzzies that I get when I'm here is like I can go do whatever I want to do. And I know that my platform is big enough, like super huge, for my vision to fit under it, and then 90,000 agents' vision to fit up under it.
Totally. Totally.
Right.
Tell tell me, so now that you've made the move, how has the platform changed your life, business, for
Hmm.
the better, right? We'll get back to the growth side a little bit later, but for you as Joe, the agent Joe, the man,
The man, the man.
how has this changed your business trajectory?
Yeah, I mean, it's allowed me to, I mean, it's just really just allowed me to scale. I operate now in 14 different states, you know. Big niche is on YouTube right now. So
Okay.
it's allowed me to not only bring a pretty substantial folks into my world because people are like, well, Joe, you're all about Asian attraction. Well, of course I am. I'm a servant leader. I want to help people. So Asian attraction to me, every brokerage does it,
Yep.
right? They have to do it.
Yep.
Okay. The difference here is they say, Joe, thank you. Nima, thank you. Where the money doesn't flow up. So
Right.
we as EXP agents, we own 50% of the business, which is amazing. And so Agent attraction to me, Nima, has changed. Like, operate out of 14 states. We got a couple partners in those states, right? We do some YouTube stuff. All right. And so, uh, agent attraction to me is nothing but doing what I've been doing for a decade,
Yeah.
which is supporting agents, coaching agents, helping them have opportunities to build wealth and legacy for their families. Okay. And attaching them with a platform and myself that's going to help to create the best version of themselves.
And that's really what it is. It's not so much, hey, join eXp, the brokerage. It's, hey, can this platform with the tools, with the systems, with the collaboration, with the multiple streams of income, can this blow up your business for the better? It's
Can you blow, yeah, can it blow up your business for the better?
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
me coming from me coming from KW. I mean, I know we're saying talking about KW because that's where I was
That
for
was your
so
story. That's your
long.
story. Yeah.
Is like, can you like let's hypothetically imagine something. Let's take let's take Caldwell Banker. Let's take KW. Let's take any traditional brokerage
Okay.
that does not have stock options. They do not have multiple streams of income. If you want to make money at this brokerage, you have to sell more homes, more homes, more homes,
Year after
right?
year after year.
Year after year after year. And now a lot of folks, EXP, the biggest myth is that all we care about is recruiting. It's not. We are the largest production per person company on the planet.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if people want to do some research on that, I challenge them to go do it because agent attraction is not about bringing people, it's about producing. Because if you participate in agent attraction, you don't make a single cent from someone not producing, right? So,
Can't recruit to a sinking ship, right? You got to sell. End
yeah,
of the day, you got to sell, and
you
we
got to
do
sell.
we do a dang lot of that,
You got to
according
do
to the
a lot
stats.
according to the stats. And
Yeah.
so, I had a train of thought there, Nima, but I think I lost it. But you know, getting back to, let's go to the traditional route,
Right.
right? Now, there's a lot of great companies, okay? There really is. You got the traditional platforms. Let's say Coldwell Banker, Remax, KW. KW's got some little things in there that's different than some traditional, okay? But
Right.
very little companies are set up like EXP. So hypothetically, let's say that every agent that was with those companies walked into the office tomorrow or went to a conference and they all came in and the company's leadership said, "Hey guys, by the way,
I know where you're going
we're
with this.
moving." You say what?
I said, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So if I'm at family reunion back in the day of KW, or maybe you're a Caldwell Banker or Century 21 or so, wherever you are, okay? And you walked into a conference and they said, "Team, by the way, we are going to start offering stock options. We are going to give you revenue share. We are going to do this, do this, do this, do this."
Yep.
The room would explode
Yep.
with excitement.
Yep.
Okay.
Totally.
Totally. Like, oh my gosh. But when EXP has perfected it,
Yeah.
doesn't work for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and so that's kind of what I talk about is, if you're a business owner and real estate agents, I think a lot of real estate agents are great real estate agents. I think real estate agents are really challenged on being great business owners,
Sure.
right? And if you take your real estate agent hat off, your real estate agent hat is to serve your clients. So let's take that off. You're serving buyers and sellers with your real estate hat. Now let's put the business owner hat on, the one that is strategic, the one that is playing chess and not checkers. What does that business owner look like? And what platform and systems and tools and all the things that you need to position yourself appropriately in the market? Let's put that hat on,
Yeah.
right? And so, you know, if I was back in the day at KW, like if I'm at family reunion and they got on stage and said, "We're moving to revenue share and not profit share." Oh my gosh.
Right.
Like the money. It's not about the money, but the opportunity just 50 times itself.
Yeah.
And you can see how passionate I am about this, Nima,
Right. Yeah.
right? It's like, because the indoctrination that companies use, oh, it's mailbox money. No, it's not mailbox money for me. It is the lifestyle money.
Yeah. It's life
Okay.
changing. It's life
Like
changing.
I'm not looking for my revenue share or my profit share at KW to go buy me a lunch at Chick-fil-A. I want it to buy me my life.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can see I get crazy about this. All right.
Well, we have you
And
on.
that's the biggest thing. Oh, Joe, I got profit share. Okay.
Yeah.
How much? Like, oh, well, I don't really look at it as I don't really look at it as like it's just extra. I'm like, that's because you've been told that's the value
Right.
of it. So that's what you've been told. It's just mailbox money. It's just some extra money for you. What if I told you that you could use your credibility, your standing in the market, who you have, what the empire that you have already built, and the person that you already are, to build a stream of wealth that you can only imagine.
Yeah.
Not mailbox money.
Right. Think bigger. Whatever you're thinking, it's
Think
not big
bigger.
enough. Yeah.
Right. And so I really think that EXP, I mean, I've been here now, I'm in it every single day. EXP has, in my opinion, absolutely perfected how the modern real estate agent works in 2026.
Yep. And in the future,
Okay.
and always
And
changing,
and
always
and in the future,
trailblazing.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And so, I ran a large KW. I don't know, 800, 900 agents, big brick and mortar, big everything, right?
Yeah.
I saw the same 15 people, Nima, every single day.
Yep.
The offices are empty. Maybe there's a sales meeting every now and then with 50 to 75 people. That's just a bunch of water cooler talk with very little value. It's just a kumbaya party.
Yeah.
That adds no value, in my opinion. It adds very little value to your business and to your bottom line. It might make you emotionally feel good, but it doesn't really help you move your goal for you and your family
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Okay. So I could go on for this for 10 hours,
Might
Nima,
have to do a take shoot number two and number three. What
I know.
tell me about let's switch over to the growth department's hat, right? We're putting on your regional growth director hat.
Yeah.
Real briefly, tell us your role. Let's say there's an agent or a team or an independent broker out there that's thinking about EXP.
Mhm.
How do you step in? Talk about that vantage point, right? We've done a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
job
yeah.
talking
So,
about
so
all the other pillars.
well, hey, let's talk about my heart first on
Okay.
that role.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay. And you know this, my friend. Okay, is I am obsessed with helping you, the next person, then the next person create multiple streams of income that serve your family. Okay. One of those ways is through agent attraction here at EXP.
Yep.
And so, how you would use myself from a growth perspective is if you have a relationship that you're speaking to, um, and you don't need to know everything about EXP. That's where I come in. Now, do I know everything? I mean, there's so much. I know enough, right, to move the conversation forward. So it's, if you're speaking to an agent you have a relationship with, a team, an independent brokerage, any person that would open the door to having a conversation and being open-minded about EXP is where there's an opportunity to bring me in, be a leverage piece for you to help that agent overturn every question that they have, deep dive into what their business and what their vision looks like, and how that fits into how their vision fits into our world and how we actually help them do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, there's no sponsorship opportunity there. There's no co-sponsorship opportunity there. The growth team across the country lives in a pure servant leadership space for the agents that want to grow.
And they're amazing people. I've had tons of these conversations with our growth leaders. They come from a place of contribution, like you're saying, a wealth of knowledge. And the conversations are strictly to give the prospects information so that, like I said, they and only they can make the decision that best aligns with what they want to do. But I always tell people, look, No smart business person says no to an opportunity unless they know exactly what they're saying no to. And say yes to the next meeting, the next opportunity until you have an absolutely unequivocally compelling reason to say no. And what do you have to lose? You might get your socks knocked off, So uh,
Get your
live in
socks.
curiosity.
Well, and Nima, let me speak to that last comment that you made. Okay, is when I met with eXp 3 years before I actually moved, I
Yeah,
never forgot the conversation. I never forgot it, and it lived rent free in my head
okay.
for 3 years because what I saw, I couldn't unsee it.
Yeah,
And it was just an hour meeting. It wasn't an all day thing. I didn't go to an all day event, talk about all the bells and whistles of EXP. It was literally an 45 minute to an hour coffee. And I saw the numbers and I was like, I can't unsee what I just
yeah.
saw. And so that lived rent free in my head for 3 years. And then it
Better
just
late
got
than
to,
never.
well, yeah, better late than never. It just kind of got to a point to where how has a business leader in this industry, and there's a ton of awesome real estate agents and business leaders across the country. It just got to a point where I couldn't say no. It would be, Alex Hermosi, right?
Yep.
A lot of people may follow him. One of his phrases is, "Make the offer so great that it feels stupid to say no." And that's kind of where I was.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know if I would be the person that I'm supposed to be if I say no to this opportunity. Like it makes no sense to say no to this,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So, that's where I'm at today, my friend.
Any final thoughts? We've talked a little about the consolidation of brokerages that we're seeing. Any any final thoughts for the person out there that's curious? Maybe their brokerage is shutting down. Maybe they're not where they want to be. Maybe they're curious. Maybe it's not even on their radar. Any final thoughts with respect to the platform and whether you're a team leader, solo agent, broker owner, whatever your real estate hat is that you're putting on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this, like a lot of us are, I mean, the consolidation of the market is absolutely happening. I think we all know that as leaders in the industry. And what we mean by consolidation is, real estate agents aren't going away, companies and brands are going away because there's zero pathway to profitability, and they're starting to possibly see that. Okay. And that's okay. And a lot of agents in this space are like, Joe, I would never leave. But sometimes, and I've seen this across the country, sometimes the agent doesn't have a choice. Okay. They have to make a decision they weren't making those leadership decisions. They weren't making those money decisions at their brokerage. So I don't want to put brokerages on blast or like, did they make any crazy decisions? But I will say that we know that this business is wild and crazy. We know that. And so sometimes with the expenses and the things that happen in our world and how things have done this, it's very hard to operate from a place of profitability, depending on again what agents are there because brokerages make money off of agents bringing in business. Okay, so if you're in a place where you you never thought of leaving, but at some point I've talked to a ton of agents recently that did not have that choice. Okay, and having them have a soft landing here with us has been great over the last couple weeks with unfortunate closings
Sure.
of offices. And so, and it's unfortunate. Like you don't want to blast those out and be like such and such company closed.
Right.
Like it's very hush hush. And so you don't want to put that on blast, but you do want to take care of your fellow real estate agent, regardless of what brand they're at, to see how you can help set them up, not only for today and the soft landing, but the next 3, 4, 5 years, because that consolidation started to happen 8 years ago, and it's just gradually been moving along.
Yeah.
Okay. Where I really feel like in the next 12 to 24 months, it's going to kind of drop off a cliff.
Wow. And we talk
Okay.
about taking care of agents and their livelihood, right? This is
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're all professionals, we're all human, and we all want to see everybody succeed, regardless of what those
Yeah.
letters are on that wall of your brokerage. So,
Yeah, yeah, regardless. Like I want to see agents crush life. I want to see agents provide massively for their families, whether no matter what logo is on their business card. I
yeah,
also want them to take a look at all their options that will set them up.
yeah.
That's the biggest thing is like if they don't choose the platform, okay, but at least they have had an open-minded conversation to overturn all those stones and those options and those opportunities.
Stay in curiosity, and at least you know what's out there and what you're saying no to, and what you might possibly
Yep.
say yes to. So,
Yep.
folks, Joe, appreciate your time. Folks, if you're watching this production on my platforms and you have questions, reach out to me. We'll get you in touch with Joe. Anybody else that you need to talk to, stay in curiosity. We'll get you answers. We want to make sure that we are helping you get clarity one way or the other, whether you stay where you are or you decide that this is the right platform for you. And if somebody has sent you this production, go back to that person, say, hey, tell me more. Tell me more about eXp, and we will always be here as a resource to you as you stay in curiosity. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the next one.
Back at you, brother. Thank you so much.
You got it.